Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
And we're back here with my guest, Mr. George Lutz, for Honor and Remember. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing terrific.
Hey, first off, I just want to thank you for hanging out and joining us and talking about Honor and Remember. Anytime I talk to a Gold Star family member, I always feel like I have to extend our appreciation. So thank you so much.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, and certainly I can talk about my passion, for as long as you need.
Yeah, I know. We got an hour, so we're not. You're not going to get no news snippet that only covers 2 minutes, and then they go, "Okay, thank you, sir, bye." No, we're going to talk. So first off, tell us a little bit about yourself, sir. Where are you from?
Oh gosh, Chesapeake, Virginia, in the Norfolk, Hampton Roads area.
Mm-hmm.
Been in this area for, over 40 years now. This is a military town, as you probably know.
Yep.
And this is where I raised my family. Been married for 48 years. And I've got 5 children, 3 daughters, 2 sons. We'll talk about one of my sons.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of me. Typical American, never served, but my dad served, my grandfather served, my uncle served, all before I was born. So I really wasn't a military brat at all. Just a typical patriotic American who, loved his country and appreciated being born in it.
Amen to that. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Where sometimes when people are like, and there's a joke or a common saying or a meme that's out there that says, you ever think about what happens if you win the lottery? And the response is, I did win the lottery. I was born in this country, and the greatest country in the world. So,
amen.
So exactly that. I'm just, like I said, I'm going to get down to the details. What's Honor and Remember's origin? Because I want to get that out of the way first.
Yeah, sure. Well, the interesting thing about being a dad of someone in the military, especially during a time of war, right? Because my son came to me, a couple of years after 9/11, and he was concerned about our country, and he was married, already had a child, and he came to me one day and said, "Hey, Dad, join the Army." And I went, "You're crazy." I said, "There's a war going on, man." I said, "You could get hurt." And he said, "No, I think it's the best career path for me. I think I can make a difference. I've got a really unique skill set." He wanted to be in Army PSYOPs. That's the only job he wanted in the entire armed forces, was Army PSYOPs. And he tested into it. So he knew that that's where he was going. And he said, "Dad, I think I can make a difference." Back then, we were going into Iraq, and he said, "The women and children of Iraq need our help. And that's where I want to go." And so what did I do as a dad? I told him I was proud of him. I gave him a hug, told him I loved him, but I said, "Keep your head down," And so, that kind of launched what was to come, right? He went to training at Fort Bragg, now Fort Liberty. He went through his AIT. He was deployed to Katrina, during that time when the hurricane had done so much damage down in the New Orleans area. So he was a part of that rescue effort. And then, 2 months later, he had orders to Iraq. And so we saw him, was on his first deployment. This was in 2005. And we saw him off right at Thanksgiving, right after Thanksgiving. And, 6 weeks later, we got that knock on the door. And, it was, it was something you can't prepare for, right? You can't think about, you don't want to, relish at all. You don't want to give it any room, space in your head. And one of the things he always said to us, and I had several conversations with him once he was over there. Of course, things were a lot different technology wise, right? We had AOL instant message back there.
Yeah.
And so, just having a conversation with him and knowing, that he was doing something he loved, was really, really important. And, he was all in anything he did. And he gave PSYOPs everything that he had. So what happened was, I didn't really worry about him so much as to just know that he was in danger, right? But he never let on what kind of danger he was in, because you guys don't talk about it, right? You're not going to let your parents know really what's going on.
No.
You get shot out, every 5 minutes or whatever that might be. And so, we went through that, a lot of praying, and, that unexpected happened. We did get that knock on the door. And, the way I share it is, those two somber, uniformed officers come into the living room, and they give you those, 5 very simple words: "We regret to inform you." And I will tell you, from that moment on, your world is completely different. It's just as rocked, because you can't undo that. As a man, you want to fix things, right? You want to be able to undo stuff. You want to be able to repair things that are broken. And this is one area that you can't undo. And it's tough. It's a really tough place to be and to navigate around and to figure out what you're going to do next. Because I'll tell you, the things that went through my head, did I even want to be alive myself? We talk about our soldiers returning, but I'll tell you, post-traumatic stress is a thing that a family will go through, and I don't know if they'll ever get over it. But you wrestle with so much from that moment on that, it's unreal, to the gyrations that your head will go through. I'm going to get you to the organization, and you can run me through, run me from there. But one of the things that I realized was that I needed to be with other people who were going through the same thing. This was my healing. And so one of the things that I did, Ken, is I started going to funerals. Believe it or not, really weird. But I started attending funerals of other military service members. And I told you I live in a military town, mostly Navy. I was going to too many military funerals. And why did I go there? Because I wanted to tell those families that they weren't alone, that they weren't going through something that somebody hadn't gone through and was going through, right, on their own. And so that was my purpose, right, to be able to connect with them and to bring some kind of a comfort in whatever moment that means, right? I mean, there's only so many levels of comfort you're going to get to.
Yeah, exactly.
And so this is what I started doing for 2 years. I started going to funerals and just meeting families. And then I started connecting these families together because they didn't know each other. And so I thought, well, you should know this person. And they lost their son, they lost their daughter, they lost their dad, and I started connected families. And the things that I realized that families had in common, right? I mean, obviously, all you have to do is say you lost your loved one, and everybody gets that, right, instantly. If you felt it, you understand it. But the two things that I realized that these families wanted more than anything, more than benefits, more than the payout, more than all the gifts that you could give them, the two things they wanted to know was that their loved one didn't die in vain, right? There was some purpose for all of this. This is why you get these families that are out there trying to find out what happened, right? You want to make sure it wasn't, for no reason. And the second thing is that they didn't want their loved one to be forgotten. I mean, that's it. Because after a while, we all kind of become introverts when it comes to our own loss. We don't want to talk about it because it becomes too difficult to talk about. And so those triggers, those birthdays, those smells, those songs, those visuals that may trigger us, we don't share that with other people generally because we've shared it so much early on that most people are tired of it. Right? They just don't want to hear about your dead kid anymore because it's a downer, right? It's sad. Nobody wants to be sad. And so we tend not to talk about it. Some of us do, but I will tell you that the most of the families do not talk about it. And so yet, they wear, I wear my son's dog tag around my neck because I remember him every day, but it doesn't have to be something I talk about and talk to people about. So those two things stuck with me as I started visiting families. And I can't do anything about the in vain part, right? That's between you and your government or you and your branch of service. And you just have to come to terms with that at some point in your life. Because if you don't come to terms with it, it will eat you alive. You will not come out from under the covers. You will be bitter and it will just erode your life. And that's not what your son or daughter or husband or spouse would want for you, right? So you have got to come to terms with that yourself. But the second part, not being forgotten was something that I just kept thinking about over and over and over, and the importance of that. And I thought, well, what do we do as family members to make sure our loved ones aren't forgotten? Well, you've got post offices named after them. You've got bridges named after them. You've got streets named after them. There's names on walls. There's all kinds of ways that we try to make sure that our loved one are not forgotten. But everybody can't do that. There's only so many buildings that you can name, right? How many generations of loss have we had, since our inception? Too many for buildings. Right? So I thought, how can we remember as a nation collectively and unified, because we don't, we haven't been. And so as I was pondering that and I was working through that in my brain and trying to figure out what that looked like, you could have a news story that's horrific, you could even have a song, or you could write a book. You can do a lot of different things, but they're all one-offs, Ken. They don't last long. They're blips. I was going to go on a national television show one time a number of years back, and there was a news event that happened. And I never got on that show because I was overridden by this news event, right? I know it was a horrible event, but so are our nations fallen and the families that raise them, right?
Right. No, I mean, a lot of it too is that the sacrifice wasn't in vain. That's what needs to be out. You know what I mean? There's no, it was in vain. Do we get frustrated about what happened, of how something turned out? Of course we are, but it wasn't in vain. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense, but
right. And so realizing that there wasn't one thing that I could do that would call attention to to every family, right? Not just to the ones who are vocal, the ones that get on the national news because they scream and yell and in one place or another,
right?
But all the other families who aren't as vocal, who are very introverted, who never talk about it. And that's the idea came to me that what we needed was a national symbol. We needed to come up with something that we all could rally around that did nothing but say one thing: thank you. I appreciate that sacrifice of your loved one, and I am sending you a direct message that we or I will never forget. And so this became my mission with the Honor and Remember organization, the creation of the Honor and Remember flag, which my whole concept from the very beginning was to create, like the POW/MIA flag, a flag that would do nothing but recognize the sacrifice of our men and women from generations, not just current generation, every generation from the past, current, and in the future, and recognize that loss and give us all a unified way to send one message, right? That message of appreciation. And so on Memorial Day of 2008, the Honor and Remember flag was unveiled publicly to become that national symbol. So I'm going to stop there and let me take a breath and
no, sir. I could listen to you all night. You just talking. I can just soak it in. We have another Gold Star family member, Glory Grace Dickinson, who's in
Nice.
there comments, and she says, "Mr. Lutz, I thank you for what you provided us to honor our loved ones, and I will see you on May 17th." So that's
Nice.
great news. Now the design of the flag. Can you tell us what the symbology is of the flag itself?
Yeah.
And what because some people are like, what does it mean? And some of it they don't understand what the star in the folded flag means.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I wanted to relay, Ken, when I started this all, was that I wasn't just a grieving dad who wanted to throw something out there, right? I went at this with the idea that I wanted to create a national symbol. I wanted people to look at something and go, yeah, I can see that, right? So I started researching. Symbology of what we do and say and display as a nation, right? In terms of just our own, understanding.
Right.
Military symbols.
Right.
So you've got the red field, right? Which is a sacrifice of bloodshed, which is American flag red, which to me is the best color to represent that half of the field, right? You've got the purity of our men and women saying, hey, I'm going to defend my family, my state, my country, and I know what I'm doing and I'll be back. So there's a purity, right? A white purity of their mission. The blue star in the center goes back to World War I, when a solid blue star was hung on a banner on a door or a window to let the neighbors know that you had somebody in military service, right? It goes all the way back to the First World War. And so you could have a banner with one blue star, two blue stars, five blue, as many family members as you had. That's how many blue stars you could have. When that blue star was overlaid with gold, as you see on this flag behind me, it meant that loved one was not coming home. This is where the term Gold Star came from, right? This is the preciousness, the value of that life given. And when a same banner that hung up on that window and door, the neighbors would know that there was a casualty in that household, right? Because of that gold star. Underneath those two stars is a folded flag. We all know and associate that a folded flag is handed reverently and respectfully, to the family at the memorial of their loved one. But that flag that's handed to them is meant to go into a shadow box and to be a reminder, right, of that loss, of a gift from a grateful nation, right? But what I like to say is that this country was built on one folded flag at a time, because each one of these men and women are individuals. They're not numbers. They're not statistics.
Exactly.
Right? The flames above it, eternal flames. How many times have you seen the term or heard of eternal flames, right? Perpetually and ongoing, reminding us to remember.
Mm-hmm.
And then the words below, we will always honor their sacrifice and remember them individually by name. And so our goal through the symbolism of this, all of this, is to make this one of the most recognizable symbols in America. Because, as zealous as I am about and passionate about this mission, I do not believe that the American flag can fly without the lives given that are represented through the Honor and Remember flag. Those are the lives that hold up the pole, right? That helps our country's emblem fly freely.
Amen.
And so that's the symbolism behind it.
No, and you're right. A lot of this, a lot of them, the military, the symbolism that we have in our military always has a meaning. So there's always a meaning why there's a patch has a specific logo or whatever.
Yeah.
But you're correct. How once you got this network built up and once you started developing it, how easy was it to get this established? I mean, can you explain to that process?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. This has been it's got to be a labor of love because there's no other way. It's not what I do, Ken. It's who I am. I'll tell you that.
Right.
This is a part of every pore and fiber of my being. But, I thought it was going to be an easy sell. I mean, I honestly did. I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be so easy, because who wouldn't want to recognize our nation's fallen military
Right.
and their families? And you think about, well, we have Memorial Day, right? Now, that nobody gives a flip about Memorial Day. And when I say nobody, I mean 80 to 90% of our country. I mean, there are the patriotic Americans who get it.
Mm-hmm.
But, I saw a survey not too long ago that said between 50 and 80% of Americans don't even know why we have Memorial Day.
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
Right. So if we set aside a day to remember, and 50 to 80% of our country doesn't know why that day is there, who's remembering?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
There's nobody remembering. And so so I thought erroneously that certainly everybody would glom onto this and pick it up, and it would be the most wonderful thing that could ever happen. Well, I'll tell you, some of the most ardent detractors have been veterans, believe it or not.
Wow.
Not a large population, but where I needed them to be supportive, they were not. And for the weirdest reasons, which I'm not going to go into.
Of course, yeah, I understand.
But it really shocked me. So the first thing I thought was I needed a bill in Congress, because if I'm going to make this a national symbol, I've got to have a national bill. So my first year, I had a bill in Congress. Well, God knows how naive I was to think I had a bill in Congress.
Oh my God, I hear you. It's a tough, just to do anything. Oh, it's tough. Yeah, exactly.
I've had 6 bills in Congress, Ken. So my thought was, my first thought was in 2010, I started this in 2008, right? Mm-hmm. In 2010, after my second bill in Congress, I thought, I'm going to travel the country. So I got in a vehicle and I went to all 50 states, just myself, and I spoke and presented flags to families, and I spoke at capitals and VFWs and American Legions and Gold Star family groups, and I just spoke for 6 months. I was out on the road by myself. And then at the end of that, this was in 2010. In 2011, I moved to Washington, D.C., and for 2 months, I lobbied Capitol Hill every single day, 10 hours a day for 2 months, trying to get this bill passed, right? Now, we're in 24. This was 2011.
Yeah.
There's still no passage here, right?
Yeah.
So I decided that Congress wasn't worth my time, that I would start going on a grassroots. I'm not a lobbying organization at all. That's not my mission. But on a grassroots level, having met families and met patriots who really wanted this to happen, I started working on a state-by-state basis, because I thought if I can get the state, because after all, these men and women didn't die for their country. They died for their state.
For their home.
They died for their community, right?
Exactly.
They died for the land they owned and their dads owned. And so if I could get the state to acknowledge their dead, their military heroes, then I could get Congress eventually. So this has been over the years my kind of direction, amongst other things, but as far as legislation, because if I could get the legislation done, then maybe the flags would start flying, the families would see them and realize that their state cares,
Right.
right? Their state gives a damn. And so to date, we have, as an organization, 27 state adoptions, legislated state adoptions. That's not any small feat.
No, because actually, as you were talking and doing some of the research, I had posted the bill. So right now, all the audience right now is seeing the bill, the congressional bill that was introduced last year. But also, I did some research, and you're right. The article I have here from Ohio is that now they passed the legislation. 7 states have passed it, and now they're introducing it in Ohio. And so, which I think you're doing it that way. I think is pretty great to see state by state level, and then with enough states involved, then Congress will pick it up. And because I'm gonna tell you what, I know you're right. Dealing stuff through Congress, and I've helped some congressional. Oh gosh, it's woo. There's so many wickets to run through, and it's just like So each state, were there any states that had any? I don't want to say like, I don't know. We're a little. We don't want to touch that. Or so far has the support been pretty supportive? Have you been getting good support?
Overall, the states have been very supportive, and I'll tell you, in the 27 states that have adopted, the votes in the Senate and the House have been unanimous in favor.
Awesome.
So in those 27 states, but I will tell you that there are states that we just can't get it going because there's gatekeepers. As I said earlier, there are people that just don't want it. And I don't know why they don't want it, because the Gold Star families want it.
Right.
But they're making decisions for the Gold Star families, which is totally wrong. But there are states that have been working at it for years. We finally got Illinois last year. It took us 9 years to get Illinois through. Mm-hmm. And then when finally it went through like that. Right. It was like no problem. So I think some people actually have to age out or term out, right?
That's like all of Congress right now that needs to age out. They just can't seem to be aging out.
Well, right now, I know there's bills in Alaska, Ohio, Kentucky, New York, Massachusetts, New Hampshire. These are all bills that are out there. Where they go, I don't know, and how long it'll take.
Right.
If anybody's out there in any of those states, and you can lend a voice, please do, because this is so important. In order for this to happen federally, I think we already have half the country, but I think we need to get more than half the country in order to really get these legislators on Capitol Hill to listen. And especially, Ken, now when we're having so many losses that nobody's talking about, it's a travesty to me. Mm-hmm. And one of my visions, and I don't know, maybe I can articulate this, the right way. I've got a couple of mind's eye visions, but one of my visions is that, whenever the American flag is lowered to half staff, how many people are wondering why?
Oh yeah,
right.
Agreed.
Don't we all raise our hand and ask? I'm always asking my
mm-hmm.
neighbor, why is the flag half staff?
Yep. Yep.
Who died?
Yep.
So we never really know, right? So here's my mind's eye vision. When there's a military casualty, right? Whenever there's a military casualty, that there's an honor and remember flag that's put up under that U.S. flag, and both of those flags are lowered so that it was a military service member who gave their life. I think that would make the most sense in articulating exactly to everybody, we lost a hero. Mm-hmm. We didn't just lose an old age politician.
Right.
We lost a hero today, and those flags are up there to remind us that hero lived and their family is grieving. That is the power of what I see this flag meaning to so many, to all of us, whether we're connected to the military or not. whether we lost somebody or not, whether we had lost a buddy, right, or not. This flag should be going up on special, at least those days, on Memorial Day, during the month of May. We should be sending this message of thanks to people who are willing to put on the uniform and give their life so that we don't have to. How else do we do that in this country?
Right. Now, that leads me to another question. Has anybody that helped, how do I say this? Has anybody who ran through the wickets of the POW MIA flag, had they reached anybody? Is there anybody still alive from that? Because I know that was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, and I use that as a model.
Gotcha. Okay.
I use that as a model. As a matter of fact, I worked with a manufacturer who helped design the POW MIA flag.
Okay.
And so I worked through their, process, and I've met former POWs and actually have really good relationships with those, those POWs. I met John McCain, showed him the flag. I mean, that's been part of my process in vetting.
Right.
I have a Medal of Honor recipient from Vietnam on my board, so I was a part of vetting that process, that this whole journey through that, because I knew that would be a sensitive area as well. But so I've tried to do as much due diligence as I could. But they didn't have a roadmap, Ken. Yeah. They started in 1971.
Yeah, exactly. I'm about to say.
Right?
Yeah.
And then it was adopted 18 years later in 89, and we still didn't have the internet or any of that social media or anything. So there was a long, hard road. I'm at 16 years, and I'm still not there.
Right. Most of it too is I think, and most of it, I'm used to this already. Most Congress doesn't even operate a bill or anything unless it's got some riders to it, attachments to it that are going to go along with it. So, this just gives me I just had an idea pop in my head that we can talk, during the break when we're done, because again, I just got an idea.
Yeah.
So, well, that's how you got here, because it was just an idea. I'm like, oh, hey, let's bring him on here. That was a good idea. But it was actually your idea and my idea. I mean, Chris and Sean helped us out. But I just want everybody to know that this is a flag for honoring a fallen service member. Now, are there any specific link, like a fallen service member that must have died in combat or must have?
Well, yeah, the qualifications are while serving, in any capacity while serving, or as a result of serving.
Gotcha.
So this completely embodies, those that may have died through post-traumatic stress, through those hidden wounds.
Gotcha.
As well. So while serving or as a result of serving.
Gotcha. Okay. Now the latest, how do I say this? What state are we waiting on to get another approval for use of their flag, of the flag? Because I can start poking people.
I am told that Massachusetts actually is waiting on the final vote.
Gotcha.
On April the 30th.
Okay.
So Massachusetts actually could be our 28th state this month.
Okay.
Then it would have to go to the governor, but I wouldn't see that as a problem. We're having trouble in Ohio. They're just reintroducing this bill for, I don't know, the 8th time.
Yep.
So we're having trouble in Ohio. Really could use some help there. We've had some trouble in Kentucky, believe it or not.
Wow.
And New York, of course, I don't know how liberal
New York is New York. There's the 1 minute it can swing one way, 1 minute it can swing the other. So,
but anytime a bill is introduced, I'm always hopeful.
Of course.
And I think, I don't know where Alaska is, but I think Alaska was close, honestly. But if you don't know where your state is in all of this, you can just go to legiscan.com, I think is the website, and put in honor and remember flag, and you can find out what bills are in what states.
Gotcha.
And if your state doesn't have a bill or it's not one of the adopted states, please go to one of your local representative and try to make it happen. Alabama, I think, was in the works as well too. One of the representatives contacted me a month or so ago, and so, but it's not just about the states, Ken, because there are businesses out there, there are churches, there are individuals. My goal is flags on flagpoles.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I want to see. The state may adopt it and never fly it.
Exactly. Exactly.
So what good is that to anybody?
Right. Well, I will say that my brother, before he passed, on his truck had the little sticker that was on the back of his truck, and I'm like, hey, where'd you get that? I'm like, well, how did you get that? And he's like, oh yeah, he's a PSYOP guy, just like you were. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I want to, because it was just out of the blue, and he had the little one in the back corner of his truck. So I just thought it was pretty cool.
We have stickers. We have every size flag.
Right, and that's the
motorcycle
thing.
Flags,
and that's
coins,
exactly. I see the Patriot Riders. They have them on the back of their bikes when they're doing their escorts, and I also see on the back of big rigs. I saw a big rig. I think it was maybe in Tennessee, and it had a pretty good size. It was almost half the door, the back door of the reefer, and I
3x5.
Yeah, that was pretty good. It was like, bam, it was right there. And every time I see that, and you're right, it's that smell, it's that song, it's that triggering thing. So when I see that, I'm like, oh, hey, that's because of Tony. That's because his dad and Night Battalion, because for you guys. He was killed by a sniper's bullet while he's serving in 9th PSYOP Battalion. So for the PSYOP regiment, it's really close to us. So to me, I see a flag on a truck on the back of a bike, and I'm just like you said, it's that smell, that song, that remembrance.
It calls attention to.
Yeah, it takes it back. So,
and so this is the same for the families.
Exactly.
And this is what we want. We want the families to see this flag everywhere they go, because we want them to know that people are remembering, and to bring them some level of comfort in knowing that. I'm going to give you a visual. This is a real visual that I would love to see duplicated across this country. And I challenge anybody listening to this or watching that if you've got a flagpole, put up one of these flags. If you own a business, put up one of these flags. If you own a chain of businesses, put up these flags. Here's a visual. This is a real visual. In my yard, before I leave, I have a 15-foot flagpole with a U.S. flag, the biggest U.S. flag that I could put on it, and an Honor and Remember flag. I go out of my driveway and I take a right. I go 1 mile down the road, and my neighbor has got 2 Honor and Remember flags in his garden. I take a right. I go 3 miles down the road, and I come to a VFW who's flying the American flag, the POW flag, and the Honor and Remember flag. I take a left at their post. I go 3 more miles, and on the left is an Elks Lodge flying an American flag and an Honor and Remember flag. I stay on that same road another 5 miles to a major intersection, and at an American Legion post, one of the oldest in the state of Virginia, the American flag, the POW flag, and the Honor and Remember flag. I take a right at that intersection. I go 2 miles forward, and there is an Assemblies of God church flying the American flag and the Honor and Remember flag. This is a path that I can drive that I had very little influence in putting those flags up, except explaining my story and saying why that flag is important to sending a message of appreciation to those who live in a free country. This is what I'd like every Gold Star family in America to see, that same kind of visual. No matter what building it is, no matter what business it is, no matter what it embodies, whether it's a home or not, those messages are being sent. I have stopped driving across a country and seen a flag and stopped, literally got out, went inside and said, God bless you. Mm-hmm. You have no idea what message you're sending to so many people you don't even know.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly. Well, it's the same thing with the truck. Like I said, I've
Right.
seen it driving by on the truck, and I see it, blow by me, and I'm like, oh, whoa, oh, there it is. And like you said, so that's the only visual that I can have but for right now. So that brings us to the event that's happening in May.
Yeah.
We're all going to get together and do an event. Yeah. U.S. Army WTF moments and honor and remember the PSYOP Regimental Association. We're all getting together. We're all going to hang out. We're doing a ruck. Hang on, let me pull up. Yeah, let me pull up the graphic up right quick. Maybe we should have dragged Sean along over here so that way he could have he could explain it. I'm just messing with you, Sean. But anyways, so U.S. Army WTF moments and WTF Nation Radio will be there. We'll be providing some coverage as well. I think, did we hand out? Are we all done with the closing of the registration already?
I don't know, but there's a tag along event to that we can talk about as well.
Correct. So we're going to have we're going to be there. It's a memorial ruck / run / walk. No one has to worry about competing. This is not a competition. This is more of a remembrance thing, more of a fellowship event. And Sean just dropped the comment in there. You can still sign up.
Okay.
So as a matter of fact, let me change the as a matter of fact, I'll drop it in. I'll drop it in all the comments here, so that way you can see on all the platforms the event.
It's a tribute trail, is what it is.
Exactly that. It's a tribute trail. Not only is it a tribute trail, but along the path of it is all of us getting together and reflecting and talking and like I said before, it's just a big fellowship event, pretty much.
Yeah.
Again, it's not a super competition. We're not there to see who can outruck who, because you're all going to be able to outruck me because I'm old and I'm beat up. So but I'll be there walking along, and we'll be providing some live videos and some live coverage to this platform as well. The tickets, the sign up, it's in the link. So if you guys on Twitter, don't worry, we posted a link underneath the post. It's on all the Facebook and YouTube chats. So again, this is going to be a check-in. It's going to be at 6:30 a.m. 7:30 a.m. The event begins, and we're going to walk along. Some of it's, like I said, and in each area, there's going to be a marker of some of the fallen that we have in the PSYOP regiment, and so I'm looking forward to this. Now, this is not just one event, right? This is
a combined event, actually, with Honor and Remember's initiative called Run for the Fallen.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started Run for the Fallen. Actually, Run for the Fallen started in 2008, the same time we started with the flag, with another gentleman who began it. And then we kind of took it over 10 years ago. And we have been conducting state Run for the Fallens all across America. If you go to runforthefallen.org, you'll learn a little bit more about it. But this is our 14th state run, North Carolina Run for the Fallen. And we are running from Fort Liberty to Camp Lejeune over 3 days. And so with the PSYOP battalion there and the and Sean's group and the Alumni Association, they have organized this ruck to kind of be a send-off, if you will, a memorial send-off for after we take the time and we spend that morning honoring these heroes. We're going to take I think we're over 600 fallen North Carolina service members connected, and we're going to call out their names out loud over 127 miles to Camp Lejeune.
Awesome.
1 mile at a time, all the way to Camp Lejeune. And we're looking for support for that as well. We need some finances for that to make that a reality. But that website is northcarolina.runforthefallen.org. North Carolina, all together, northcarolina.runforthefallen.org. runforthefallen.org.
Let me grab them in North Carolina. Because what I'll do is I'll run for the fallen. I'll put it there myself.
Okay, North Carolina runforthefallen.org. And so there'll be a group of core runners, mostly from the Army base, who are going to be running with us for 3 days, calling those names out loud.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to start with this ruck, and then we're going to be launched onto this 3-day run, which is going to be very significant. And we hope, Ken, that this is going to be the first of something that we're going to repeat year after year. If we can get the Marines on the other side to do something similar, then we can get the Marines honored on their end while the Army is honoring on the front end. And so,
and we help the Marines develop some of their PSYOP stuff too. So we help them build their own PSYOP. So maybe get like a Marine PSYOP association or something going too for them.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So
we're working on that.
Yeah, I was about to say this you're working a lot of stuff, George. You're busy.
Well, before I get to North Carolina, I have a Virginia run, and we have an Indiana run, and we have a New York run, and that's just the first part of the year. So Ken, it's so important, and this doesn't happen again. As I mentioned, the families are introverted for the most part. We don't even call our own loved one's name out loud, because we have them in our hearts. We don't need to say their names.
Right, exactly.
And so the power of saying these names out loud is unbelievable.
Yep.
Is unbelievable. And so I want every single state's heroes called out loud, every single state. So the more runs we can do in the more states, then the more honor that we can bring. So if we're not doing a state run and you want to start one, contact us, because we would love to put a state run in your state and make sure your heroes aren't forgotten as well.
I'm doing some research here. Does anything on the West Coast? Does California have the Honor Remember bill? No, or no?
Arizona, Oregon.
Gotcha. Okay.
Arizona, Oregon, Texas, Oklahoma. Those are the four as far west as right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm just curious, because we have audience members asking, "Hey, is there one out here?" So, I'm just looking through here. So so is there anything going to happen that day? Are we supposed to be doing anything that day on the day of the ruck, or we're just supposed to?
On the 17th?
Yeah.
Well, I know that Sean's got an amazing program planned. And
yeah, exactly.
They're gonna have a lot of the PSYOPers who have fallen, placed out there in the ruck. I think there's going to be some some of the command that are going to talk, and we're gonna fellowship, right? So
exactly.
A number of the families are going to be there, Gold Star families whose loved ones we're honoring.
Yep.
And I hope we're going to hear some stories and maybe shed some tears, but it's going to be a good healing time.
Yeah, it is.
And
it is.
Yeah. So unless Sean's got some surprises for us.
No, I think him surprising you to come on here was good enough. No, for real, it was just a big idea. I was like, we should come on, bring him on here and shoot the breeze and see what's up. So, yeah. So it's going to be, I can't wait to be there. I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be there myself. So I'm looking forward to meeting everybody and meeting you too. Mr. Lutz, thank you so much for hanging out. This is a big honor and we appreciate you coming on. We'll when we take a break, we'll talk some more stuff. And then, but I just want to again, thank you for representing Honor Remember and creating it. And this right here, we're gonna help you too. So
wonderful. Well, that'd be great. Just honorandremember.org. A lot of the information is out there. We could use some help financially as well. I mean, all organizations, but in order to get this flag out there and get it in as many places as we want to, it takes resources.
Exactly.
And even if everybody out there got a flag and put it up, that would help.
Exactly. Anything, any bit helps. So, all right, sir. Thank you so much for hanging out. And audience,
My pleasure.
We're going to take a break right quick so me and George can shoot the breeze. And then we'll be right back. So everyone refill your glasses. Go hit the head smoke if you got them, or hit the latrine. We'll be right back. Shots.
There's a lot of tough talk on Twitter, but there's not a lot of real talk.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
from your eyes. Can you make it to the other side? Begging for anything, hoping that you'll find it. If you bleed, you won't feel it. You won't see me at all. You can fight, you can hide that you're naked. I don't need more. You leave me nothing. I don't need more. You leave me nothing. And if you bleed, you won't feel it, and you won't see nothing at all. And you can fight, you can hide that you're naked. If you bleed, you won't feel it, you won't see me at all. You can fight, you can hide that you're naked. If you bleed, you won't feel it, you won't see me at all. You can fight, you can hide that you're naked. I don't need more. I don't need
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Sometimes when I look at, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, I think it's WTF Army or something.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
And we're back. Thanks to Mr. Lutz for coming on and shooting the breeze about Honor Remember. That was so. Again, like I said, talking to Gold Star family members, I'm usually in awe at their. I know them before, but it just once they are, then I get, I don't know. It's the presence about them that makes you hold them in respect, because the fact that they lost somebody in combat, especially if you know them, especially if you've served with them, that it really gets. So again, it's HR 4109, Honor Remember flag. I think I might get some little help on this, because I think this is a good deal to knock this out. So let's see. Let us see what do we got going on next. What's our next topic? What were we talking about? We were talking about the war. Well, let's just do some housekeeping right quick. Just see what's going on. So tomorrow, Orlando Jones is going to be on Pop Culture Warrior. Speaking of which, I don't know if you guys have been watching some of the tabletop games that are happening on WTF Nation Radio's Facebook page and YouTube and Pop Culture page as well. You're seeing tabletop games. You're seeing some game. Nemo, our illustrious social media guy, me and Nemo was on there, gaming with the actual King Smith. Little test run just to see how it goes. It looks like it was some pretty good feedback that we got on it. So hey, cool. This is it's good stuff. Let's keep the flow of content going, I guess you would say. There was something else that I wanted to talk about. Let's make sure I got the right graphic up there. I don't want to freaking. I do not want to. There we go. Yeah, that Orlando Jones. Yeah, exactly that. Let me pull up the graphic on here. So if you guys don't know who our Orlando Jones, who he is, you're going to see who he is as soon as I turn the screen and plow. There we go. That's Orlando Jones. Now do you guys remember him? Now do you guys recognize him? So he's going to be on to Shoot the Breeze with Pop Culture Warrior tomorrow. I'm excited to see this one. That's one thing about, shout out Paper Plane Augusta. What's going on in Paper Plane in Augusta? Augusta. What is that? Is that some sort of golf thing or something like that? Did my first D&D run. It was awesome. Yeah, exactly that, Cass. Always in awe of the families that sacrifice so much and still want to give. That's one thing about Mr. Lutz I can appreciate. He's very positive and very passionate about making sure that everybody's remembered. And, that's, dude, come on. That's like a massive He's doing a kick-ass job doing this stuff, getting some state legislators to get this knocked out. So I'm pretty proud to know him. So Orlando Jones tomorrow for Pop Culture Warrior. Again, Augusta. Okay, gotcha. Augusta. Hey. There's some sort of golf thing happening or something like that, or did it happen, or was there going to be a golf thing? Anyways, so Orlando Jones is going to be on tomorrow, and then Wednesday. Well, let me grab the graphics. So today's the Monday edition. Hang on, let me grab my image here. Oh, the Masters. See, that's what it was. Everyone's like on the Masters and stuff. So today's the Monday edition with myself and Massey. Of course, Massey had to take a real quick excused break. Tomorrow, Pop Culture Warrior, you've already got the deets with his show with Orlando Jones. And then we have the Smoke Pit with the Sorents of the squad leaders of the WTF Nation. And then myself and Spanky on Sargent's Time. Friday Night Freedom's got a bye week this week. And then we have Saturday's a day off. Could be some gaming stuff going on that Saturday when there's a lot of co-ops and stuff like that going on. So curious to see how that rolls out. If you guys got some feedback, we've already seen some comments in there, and that's got some pretty good reviews so far about that. So, but anyways, other than that, there's no scheduled show on that day. And then Sunday, the Sports Bar. What do you hear? What do you say when the coach and the king come to play? I just made that up. Sorry, dad joke. So next I got a guest on Monday. Whoa, hang on. Whoa, I got a guest on Monday. I guess I got a guest on Monday. Laura Carno from Faster, Colorado is going to be on, and then the creator of Game of Ham is going to be on Pop Culture Warrior. And no way. Is that like the real dude, the real guy from that guy coming on with the swords? Hang on, I just want to make sure it's that real guy coming on next Wednesday with the Sorents, with the squad leaders of the WTF Nation. We're going to have John Rich. Yeah, that one. John Rich, that guy. That dude. John Rich is going to be... Yeah. John Rich is going to be joining us. Well, joining the Sorents, I should say, on the Smoke Pit. Man, that's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. Man, well, what's up with our front desk getting all these great guests? So John Rich is going to come on to Shoot the Breeze with the Sorents from Big and Rich. And then... Thursday, I don't have no guest. Anyways, so Friday Night Freedom obviously is going to be next week as well on that off their bye week. So I'm giving you this week, and then I'm giving you next week. I'm excited. A lot of stuff going on. Then, of course, the month of May. I'm going home to Alabama for an ATF, HME, and then back to Carson for some fun. And I'm in the desert in the next month. You going to go to NTC or something like that? Schedule is open. The schedule is open. Who's that Breedy pal, man? Anyways, share, like, and follow for all of our platforms right now. Currently, we're broadcasting live on 2 Facebook pages at U.S. Army WTF Moments and a WTF Nation Radio, 2 YouTube pages at WTF Moments and U.S. Army WTF Moments. Yeah, I just said that. And WTF Nation Radio. And then the X app, where all the drama likes to happen, is on the X app. So pretty cool. No, I don't know what's going on. Everyone says it's okay, but yeah, you can't get it. Devil dogs suck. Okay. Well, anyways, make sure you guys share, like, and follow. Thank you guys so much for coming and joining us tonight. And of course, thank you to Mr. Lutz for hanging out with us and giving us a little story and an origin of, and of course, the advocacy for the Honor and Remember flag. Stay tuned. We're going to be doing some more stuff with him. Had an idea that I kind of kicked across to him while we were talking on the break. So at any rate, thank you guys for hanging out. And man, you guys are rocking. So thanks again so much for shooting the breeze. See you.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Welcome to my family.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
The horse, with beauty unsurpassed, strength immeasurable, and grace unlike any other, still remains humble enough to carry a man upon its back. When a service member or first responder takes an oath, he or she has mentally and physically committed themselves with self-sacrifice. From the front lines abroad to the very streets you live on in America, they protect. This oath is non-refundable and it is lifelong. Facing unimaginable dangers and unseen scars, these grounds are a place to recover and face any challenges head-on. As veterans and first responders ourselves, we know that battle all too well. From a simple talk with a friend on horseback to an entire debrief in the barn, this sanctuary has seen recovery take place time and time again. No hour of life is wasted that is spent in a saddle. The way we approach change isn't a new phenomenon. This animal has been with humans over 5,000 years. If you've ever been around a horse for long enough, you'll feel that thing, that electric trust. In that moment, nothing else is in your mind. When they turn into you, it's like the world disappears. We harness that moment to build skills off of. Repurposing requires flexibility, adaptability, and the willingness to challenge assumptions and conventional thinking. This approach can be applied to many areas in life, including business, education, and personal growth. To ride a horse is to fly without wings. This lesson and skills learned at war horses will help reintegrate back into daily life. You'll learn coping mechanisms, improved communication skills, trust and confidence that will help reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression. These tools can be used every day to navigate life and take on many challenges. This may involve practicing mindfulness, setting boundaries, improving communication with loved ones. Transitioning back to society is hard on your own. And when you're at war horses, you're family. And families solve problems together.
Сьогодні ти знову написала, що тобі страшно. І я знову попрошу. Ні, сьогодні я накажу відставити боятись. Погладь за мене бармале і спокійно лягай спати. До речі, як там Русі в школі? Скажи тату берегти серце і обійняти маму. І взагалі, давайте усміхатися. Вашій силі краса. Допомагайте один одному і виручайте. Цілуйте любимих. Святкуйте свою свободу. Ви за нашими спинами, ось такі теж надійні, не ховаєтеся, прикриваєте нас із тилу. Зробіть так, щоб ми пишалися вами. І ми повернемось і будемо жити.